Hi. It's funny. It's been like, I don't know, 2 months since I did my last recording, my last confession. And I'm still in the same gear, same hoodie, outside the gym. It's raining and cold. I don't understand. It's already past April. We're in April, past my birthday. And by now, I don't mind the rain because it is, April showers, but Jesus, it's still chilly. Which for me to say that says a lot, but I've been sick. So, like a lot has happened since we last spoke, but I'm here. And today's quick lesson, actually, inspiration that I would like to share with you is defining. Defining who we are. So, my thought for today is if I was to pick up a book on the definition of humans, not humans per se as in general, but humans as in you. And I looked you up, last name first, all through, boom, 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 and then found the first name, and I found your name, and then basically a breakdown of your name. You're most likely a noun. What would it say? The reason I say that is because in the past few weeks, I've been able to deal with a few different people, actually quite a few people, with different conversations at different levels, from everyday thoughts to spiritual thinking. And I realize that a lot of us who claim ourselves as failures, or my favorite, the black sheep of the family, have tended to put ourselves there. You put out your definition into the world of who you are. Imagine 3 children standing in a playground. You have the one kid who likes to be dirty, likes to look messy, likes to look unorganized. Sorry, still cold. And likes to portray that he's the tough one. But then when things happen and fingers need to be pointed, and they happen to be pointed at this one child who likes to portray that he's the tough one, he gets angry because he doesn't want to be considered a bully. Now you have the other child who likes to portray that, actually doesn't like to portray that, he happens to portray that he's not interested in anything, doesn't care about anything, doesn't care about the world, doesn't care about friendship, doesn't take anybody seriously, doesn't take anyone seriously, doesn't take himself seriously. So, sooner or later, friends start to ignore him and not to make him a serious part of their friendship or relationship. What ends up happening is now that child feels like that he's just pushed out of the circle. So now he's angry because he wants to be a part of it. So you either want to be down or you don't. So, in that example, which child would you be? Now, I don't really mean that either one of those two, but when you're a kid and you were first blooming, trying to put out there who you were in comparison to who you were surrounded by, did you really focus more on the inner you and trying to figure yourself out, or allowing peer pressure to take control of who you want to be or wish to be? I want to be like Ryan or Chris or Mike or John instead of like Jimmy. And it seems to be an issue, especially in today's society, especially with the monster that is social media and Facebook and all that stuff. We tend to portray sometimes who we're not. I mean, really, Facebook shouldn't be used to show your dirty laundry. I mean, there's so many people that share it, and it's ridiculous because it's like Facebook is not your friend. Most of the friends on your Facebook aren't your friends. I'm not going to bash Facebook. It's fun. My business has gained a lot of credibility. We've found a lot of customers for my t-shirt printing company because of it. So thank you, Facebook. Honestly, thank you. During my time working with animals, I was able to help a lot of animals, make a lot of connections with amazing rescue groups because of Facebook. So again, social media, it's wonderful. But I never allowed it to create a persona of who I was, or am, or I think I was, or maybe I am. But it shouldn't. You should focus your life from morning to night, as the sands go through your clock, figuring out who you are, who you want to be, who you think you are. Because that person who you want to be is you, not this person to that person. And I mean, it's funny because if you remember as a kid, you're in, like, for example, I grew up in the east side of Bridgeport, so I grew up into, my brothers were into disco, so I was into disco. And then as I got older, I got into hip-hop because that's when hip-hop started. And I really loved it. And then I hung out with some friends and started going to clubs in the city. And then before I was into house music. And then that led me into techno. Is that who I am, or was it because they were into that? There's a fine line there as to what really happens. Now, I'm not a doctor or psychologist. I'm just a human. And in my experience, what would happen is I've met, you remember, you tend to think, well, obviously you fell in love with house music because people were into house music. Your friends were into house music. I'm like, no, because I also had friends that were into punk and like really into punk. And I loved punk, and punk was fun. And when I was young, I went to a few punk clubs in the city, and it was great, but it wasn't me. So I continued finding myself. So you basically, you're like cattle, just going through life trying to figure out what you like and what you don't like. If you hear a noise, that's rain. So, bottom line is, remember that book. And I asked this of you. If I was to go to that book and look your name up, what would it say? Who are you? What is there about you that makes you the amazing person you are? Because you are. We all are. We all have our issues. We all have our problems. We all have our drama. But overall, we are incredible people. You are incredible people. All of you. And I want you to never forget that. And I want you to be able to take time once in a while to sit alone somewhere and think about all the amazing things you've done and love yourself. Love yourself for it. And ask yourself if there's a way that you can better yourself. Because we could always be a better person. We could always strive to be better at who we are and what we want to do. Because each one of us, we are amazing. And we have powers. And it's funny because I always like to bring this up, and it sounds corny, but it's what I grew up with. What's your superpower? If you're a superhero. And I don't mean I could fly or stuff like that. I mean, everybody is good at something. Like, really good at something. And I'm sick and tired of hearing people say, well, I'm not good at anything. I'm just, just going to do this, and that. And it's like, no. You're not good. Trust me, you're good at something. You're an expert at something. You're a specialist at something. Your thing is you just have to connect with yourself. Sit quietly and really think about it. And trust me, sometimes some people could figure it out and go, that's it. Some of us are born with it. And from the moment you can that I'm good at this. Some of us are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and still, I'm not good at anything. I'm just average. Nobody's average. You are not average. Trust me, you are not average. You have a superpower. You really do. You have a superpower. And there are others around you, like me, who would love to share that superpower. We want to see it. We want you to shine because you can do it. So don't let others define you. Comments and, little things like that are okay. But if somebody says, I think you're too this, or I think you're too that, it's good to listen. Like, don't be a douche. Like, it's good to listen to other people and listen to their comments. There's nothing wrong with that. But always take into consideration their comments are based on what they know about you. And sometimes people will say, It's easier for somebody on the outside to judge you. And it is, only because of the fact that you won't shut up and listen to your own inner voice. So that's what this is about. This is about taking today, tomorrow, the next day, next week, whatever, and starting to, the weather's getting nice. You're able to sit outside more often. Sit outside, have a cup of coffee, or go for a walk, go for a hike, go fishing, do something outside. I like to connect outside. And start talking to yourself. It's not crazy. It's only crazy if somebody answers and it's not you and there's nobody around you. But ask yourself, what am I good at? And sometimes, you'll start, it's basically pulling leaves back and figuring out, going back to something, maybe a flashback you had in high school and grammar school, that I knew I was good at something, but I never really thought, why should I bother? But that could have been your superpower. That could have been what you should be sharing with the world. And it's just sad because a lot of times friends, family, job get in the way. But, the first thing you need to do is, while you're doing this, is learn to balance. I do it every day. It's not easy. Try to balance. It's difficult. But when you do, and you find that you could somewhat ground yourself. I meditate. It's difficult for a lot of people, but meditation doesn't have to be what you think it is. It's just basically start off with just sitting still somewhere and just thinking, just you. And you'd be surprised when you go deep enough into your head, into your mind, into your soul. So what you may come up with. I think you're worth it. I think you're worth time. And saying that, well, I have family, I have kids, I don't have time for that. Everybody has time. It's just funny to hear people today, I don't have time. And it's do you realize how long a day is? A day is long. And do you realize that you don't use every single moment of every minute of the day? You don't. There's some time that, whether you're driving somewhere, sounds weird, sitting on the toilet. You have time to think about a thought, about something you can talk about to yourself, a message. And it's something that we should do more often, and we don't. And it's a shame because, like I keep saying, you are worth it 100%. And there's no reason why you can't dedicate 30 seconds a day. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. I know to a lot of you, you're like, oh, but that's nothing. That's not enough time to get into that frame of mind. Well, that's my point. You can't even dedicate that. It's you're not worth it. I think you are. If you have a dog, when you're walking the dog, talk to yourself. Because you're worth it. What defines you? Who are you? Who really are you? And why are you here? It's we're all on this planet, and I highly doubt we're on this planet simply to go to school, work, create a family, buy stupid shit, and die. That's not why we're here. Life is, I like to think, maybe I'm crazy, a little bit more complex than that. We are amazing human beings, and we're all put on this earth for something. Why are you here? Seriously. Like I said, don't answer it now. Think about it. Hopefully you'll remember this right before you go to bed tonight. And ask yourself, why am I here? Maybe you'll dream about it. Maybe you'll find an answer in a dream. If you want to start by asking someone that's very close to you, a very close friend that's not judgmental, a family friend who's not judgmental, go for it. But remember that. Why are you here? What defines you? Because I think you deserve to know. And it's important. Because it's sad to see people die. And I always wonder, I never do, but I used to years ago, read the obituary, come across it on the internet. And I would see somebody, so-and-so die. And I always would just a weird thing I do, I'd read their obituary and wonder, what did they do with their life? And most of the time, a lot of the stuff is amazing. They did this, they were in the war, they were involved in some nonprofit, they saved the world, they saved animals, they helped children, they did this, they did that. Plus, they had a wonderful family. But ask yourself that. What do you bring into the table? I think you deserve it. I would love to know personally. I'm always looking myself to figure myself out every day, because I want to better myself every day. And with that, I say thank you. God bless. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. In this fight, it's not me against you. It's me versus me. Everything is me versus me. Just trying to figure myself out. I am the ultimate obstacle is me always. And every day I fight to get over those obstacles. Thank you. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.